Hello, this is Kite Girl Annabelle Drumm, and today I'm doing a phone interview, and I'm talking to Mary Claire in England. Hello, Mary.
Good morning.
And it's evening for me in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, it's freezing here, by the
Is
way.
it?
Just thought I'd point that out to you. Yes,
Freezing. Oh, so your winter is not finished yet?
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Goodness. All right. Now, I've heard some wonderful things about what you are doing in your town. Do you want to give us a little bit of a description of what you're doing?
Well, we're aiming to create a kinder world, a more sustainable world, a more connected world, using food as our Trojan horse, really, using food as our tool for a kinder, better world.
And how did you get that started?
We got it started by a group of people coming together who were quite keen not to be victims of the government or economics or politics, and people who were just itching to try something different and who were tired really of all that stuff about let's consult, let's read books, let's get papers, let's have meetings, let's sit round the table. There were a group of people really who said, let's get dirty and on with it. So we started by just putting an advert out saying, we're worried about the future of the planet. We're worried about coal, gas, transport. We're worried about our kids' future. Are you worried? Come along to a meeting. And 60 people turned up and we took it from there.
Wow. Now, what have you built in the meantime? So food was what you started planting everywhere, is the impression I got.
So we were very acutely aware that a lot of people only start an action if they've got money to do it. And we wanted to start actions without money. We wanted to use our own labour and ask for money when we really couldn't go any further. So we started by what we call propaganda gardening. So we started planting food in public places and saying to people, help yourself. And that demonstrates two things. It demonstrates kindness, that we all need to share a bit more. And it also demonstrates that if we can grow broccoli in a car park, you can grow it at home in your yard. So we started by, we've got vegetables at the police station, the health centres, completely edible. This morning we're going to plant at the job centre. That's where you go and sign on and get your benefits. We're going to build raised beds there. So every school is growing some food or keeping chickens. So we started spreading our message with, sometimes we forgot to ask permission. In fact, a lot of the times we forgot to ask permission, but it's not a dress rehearsal. You
Yeah.
need to crack on.
Very good. And how now this idea has sort of caught on. I noticed that the video that you have on YouTube, which I'm going to link to further down below this video. How far has it spread around the world now?
Well, if you look on our website, which is Incredible Edible Todmorden, you'll see that worldwide there's about, I would imagine there's about 100 people doing similar things. France, the French are a little crazy, a little bonkers. They've gone crazy. They've got projects all over the place and in all their territories across the world. And on World Day, which when is World Day, I'll just tell you, is Earth Day is on the 22nd of April. We're going to launch our worldwide network. So it was quite funny, a kind of group of activists in a little town 6 years ago. And now 6 years later, we're going to be launching a network site for all the projects across the world, which is very strange.
It's strange, but it's
got no money
absolutely
for physics.
fantastic. It's just an extraordinary amount of change that you've you've been able to make in the world.
It is very strange because we've stayed pure to our original idea about not being dependent on our own energy. So we've still no office or filing cabinet or telephone. We use our own phones. We've got my kitchen as the kind of hub in the town. So even though we've created two separate companies that have gone on to employ staff in growing and aquaculture and apprentices, we in the middle, who are spreading the message, remain exactly the same without jobs. So we're really, really pleased about that.
That is superb. Hey, now you said that there was it's spreading kindness as part of the project. One thing I wanted to ask you about was that in bigger cities, is there a problem with trust? Have they found that with the projects at all? I always wondered, is somebody going to head in there, pick all the food and take off to the nearest town and sell it for themselves? Have you ever had any problem with that?
Well, I can only tell you what I know, and I feel that it's such a difficult question because you'll just have to trust me here. Is all I can say is we don't know about it. It's never happened. It hasn't happened in big cities, but I'll tell you a little story. We've got some beds by the railway station growing potatoes, and one day the ticket man said, Mary, guess what's happened? Some trampy guy's been in there, dug up your potatoes, and he's taken them home and cooked them. And I'm thinking in my heart, hallelujah, that's what it's for. So, if your mindset is, wow, do you know, all those spuds are gone because someone was hungry. Oh, I tell you, it's a gift to me. It's a joy.
Yes.
It's a joy. So it depends where you're coming from. And honestly, this is only what we've seen and witnessed with our own eyes. People are far nicer than we ever thought.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are pretty good people. We've just been fed a diet of crap and fear and propaganda from governments and politics. It's all wrong. People are pretty decent, actually. Give it a go.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And how has it
And if
affected
the worst
the children
that
as well?
happens is somebody eats food, well, not much to complain about.
What's that? Say that again?
The worst thing that could happen is that people come along and eat the food you're planting for free. That's what it's all about.
Yes. Yeah, I get that. How has it affected the children in your neighbourhood?
Well, what's lovely is that every school's involved, and the high school, which we're just working on a project now, which will launch this year, is going to have the first in the country aquaponic centre. So a £500,000 centre is being built to grow fish and vegetables using aquaculture and aquaponics. So it's written into the curriculum about growing. So it's brilliant that kids get to learn and see they're starting to grow in an environment where they can see food, not just in the chiller cabinet at the supermarket.
Yeah, so they're learning about, plant biology and all sorts of things, aren't they?
Of course, and about butterflies and about bees and pollinators and seasons.
Yes, magnificent. So it really gets them more connected with nature as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's affected vandalism as well. People are less likely to vandalise where we're growing food.
Oh, okay. So that's a great plus as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for big cities that are listening to this conversation, where do they start? What advice can you give us?
To start small, to start where you're at. So if you're in a big city, you can't just say, how can we edibilize a big city? How can you do it in a street, a bus stop? And this is my top tip. Take somewhere shitty. Take somewhere horrible, unloved and dirty and make it beautiful. That might be a bus stop, a little bed in a car park. Every city in the world has got a little space where the sun hits it beautifully. It won't be too difficult. And you can visualize, even if it's something really hardy like herbs like rosemary or sage or thyme. There's a lot of people who can't afford to go in the supermarket and buy it.
Those are the most expensive, aren't they?
Exactly. And you can just smell it, keep a little sprig in your pocket and cheer up your day. So start small, start beautiful. And you can take a bottle of water on your way to work in the morning and just drop it on there if it's too hot. Obviously, you've got heat. We've got rain. But that shouldn't stop anybody. And just start looking with fresh eyes. The world is up the creek, and if we don't do something now, we're all going to be in trouble. So when you see that posh, fancy-frou shopping centre with some ferns in a tub that's tended and watered, just think that could be an orange tree in there, or that could be some fruit or berries that you could share. Just start looking at public spaces as the food for the future, for the planet.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Is there anything you want to finish up the conversation with, Mary?
I hear it's very hot in Australia. I can only imagine what heat is like as it is naught today. So enjoy your warmth. But it would be nicer if you had a little bit more rain for you for planting. It would be easier. But I would say just do it. Honestly, it's not a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
We're not here for long. Just crack on and make a little difference.
Wonderful. That's really great. Thank you so much, Mary. I'm going to put the links to your websites below this video. And if anybody has any questions for Mary, you can go and visit those sites and get some inspiration to get it started yourself. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.
All right.